through. We saw that shaky winners best of 3 versus Windstrike, and yet yesterday, my God, did they turn it on. So if Gambit can turn it on as well here at the beginning of day 4, then maybe these Betway odds will skew the other direction. But for the start of the series, Spirit actually have a slight edge, 1.7 roughly to 2 point something. Launders, it is time.
It is time. Let's get into it. Here we are on Mirage map 1, and it's Gambit's map pick, is that correct?
Yes.
Gambit's map.
I'm going to double check, but no.
Going back and
Spirit's
forth on
Mirage,
that.
Gambit's Overpass.
Spirit's Mirage, right, okay. Okay, so Gambit here playing on the CT side. They've got 5 armor. They don't have any kits on board. They've got 3 players dedicated to the A site though, so they're ready to hold.
Got a little smoke towards stairs. Bondic ready for him to come in, and some die young with a flying headshot to kick off the morning. Oh, though, he's got a double. Tapping away for the third, can't quite get it, but at least he's still alive, and he's completely delayed this play for Team Spirit. Their smoke grenades begin to fade, and that's going to throw things in question, except rather than trying to retain bomb control, they just go on the charge. They straight offend the 2 CTs over towards Connector, pushing it onto Axile, who is not falling into his spawn. He's going to stick around a bit longer, continuing to tap away, damaging Dav cost down to 19, but the bomb plant on the other side of the box does come through. He's been given ample opportunities, and so they strike him down. Enough's enough, says Spirit, as they'll take this first pistol.
I'm surprised that Spirit actually won after those 2 shots that Mo hit, and it seemed like the bomb was not going to get planted, but the trades came out, and again, as you mentioned, pushed through that jungle and stair smoke to get their frag. So now, Team Spirit are going to be buying up. They have a couple of SMGs so far. Dav cost, we don't know if he's going to stick to that USP. We saw him do that in a previous round. So that, yeah, the recovered USP is just going to keep it for himself. And Gambit have invested absolutely nothing. Smoke goes into the window. Mo peering here to top mid. It's going to try to do some timing spam. And there was a stack from Gambit over on the B side. It's unclear as to whether or not Spirit are actually going to meet them here. Or on the A side, excuse me. Like that might be the case. Smoke to top connector. Softfit clears things out, and now they're actually moving up cat.
Good redirection there. Gambit, they did have the conga line moving quickly. Big old stack on the side of the smoke. I would feel bad for the poor sucker who they hope would walk through, but that is not the case. Everyone from Spirit heads out towards the B site. They'll find it for free, and now the ruse is up. Davcost even spotting bodies back behind them.
Not even a reason for Davcost to take these fights. They still got the SMGs in play. Just go ahead, lock down those choke points, and they've got control of everything else.
This is a beautiful start for Team Spirit. No losses.
In the halls. A couple players poking around the jungle and window. They'd be happy to recycle these. Gambit are also not going to be too concerned about getting a kill. They definitely would like to, but ultimately giving up money is not that good for them, and they'd end up losing 4 players. Last one goes down in the connector. Team Spirit win the round, 4 alive with 5 kills. Bomb goes off as well for that extra little bit of money. We're off to a strong start with some bank built up for Team Spirit.
Yeah, that was 4 MAC 10 kills for SDY.
Oh, I like that pink.
I was going to say,
yeah, that's a
with
good combo.
I mean, I've seen those. I believe they're Zowie mice. And now I've seen now the matching mouse pad.
Yeah, it's the Divina. It's a new Zowie. That looks awesome. Yeah. I really like that.
Dojo with a touch of class. Mo trying to jump over smoke. It's a very aggressive stance for Dima. He charges right into Mir. Waiting and ready. Frag goes past. Sotvik, what?
Wait, what?
He just missed the window jump and fall to his death because of it?
I don't know, but it's the round's turned on its head already. There's 2 players up for Team Spirit. They have window control and Davcost and connector, but 5 alive for Gambit. And we have no idea where that kill just occurred.
It happened at the bottom of mid, but the question is how exactly? Yikes. Coldy, 43 health, last man up. So from a clean sweep and almost flawless round in the previous to an absolute halt That is Gambit with 5 players up the moment they have those guns.
Nice. That was a good round for Mir. He threw a counter smoke and almost got killed by the player who jumped through it, but because the smoke went off and he got the kill, there was no way for for Team Spirit to trade that frag, and then obviously some shenanigans at mid allowed them to get even more kills without losing any players or map control. So it was fine for them to give up mid control, and that's a strong thing to be able to have on this map. If you can play a passive setup and get away with it, Team Spirit will have to crack open the defense in another way. And even though they did a pretty good job on the first and second round, second round, excuse me, not losing too many people, they do not have enough money to rebuy. Almost grab Mo, however, as he's forced to fall back through the connector smoke, and seems like he's got a few T's on his tail.
Good utility usage just to keep Spirit back. You can see Gambit getting closer and still remaining curious in Bondic's top mid peak. He sees 2 players at the very least, comes back for second servings, nearly with a third dish. But SDY will stop him and then lose bomb as it is Dima to lose his head. Tied up at 2 immediately. Again, Gambit moving through the motions.
Mir's going to be a really good cat player just because of how much he was fragging yesterday. Even though they lost, he was outperforming every one of his teammates, especially on overpass, was doing a fantastic job. And cat is one of the most high frag positions on the map. There's a ton of angles to work with. You're dealing with mid, and then the odd B rush you're going to be involved in, but you're also stopping underpass defaults, connector pressure, and potentially retake kills on A, which will come very often. So here in round 5, the full buy up for both teams, and it's kind of an A default with 3 players here holding the bomb. Axile might have a lot of action on his hands. First kill comes out, and it's not him who is the victor.
No, it's a swift takedown on the initial A player to the favor of Spirit. Mo rotates over. A little bit of utility downrange, but I don't think they realize just how close Spirit are. Now they know. Bondic, having stopped the first player, spots another. And he's pinned into the corner because of the flames. Dies to it, and Mo catches Davkos straight thereafter. The bomb thrown out into the open. Remember, Mir is still on ticket. So as that smoke fades, he could be able to skewer the next attempt from Spirit, but things do come to a halt.
See, Mir's already in a rotator position. Sotfik up in closet. He's trying to feel out his options. There might be an opportunity, but Doge just got the better gun.
Yeah, now it's all in on A. Mir spotting Coldie, cleans it up. I feel like that chair player really needed to activate because you could see moments after then everyone from Spirit just try to scramble, try to take that A site, and obviously Mir waiting.
That was a nice frag. Here, Mo drops the bomb carrier, and if the bomb went down in the smoke, whole different round, but you cannot discount dropping the bomb carrier on an A execute because once those smokes dissipate on CT and jungle, then it's just a whole different game. There's no free plant on the entire site unless you have extended map control into deep jungle, into CT spawn. That makes it a whole lot harder. So really nice shot from him once again. And now it's back to pistols for Team Spirit. Shot miss from Mo one more time, but he gets away relatively clean. A little bit of health loss, but he knows now that there at least was one who was trying to grab a hold of mid control. Doja is going to be a big threat with the AUG in the back of B. So Dayan will be his first target.
Seeing nearly every shot off that first magazine. Doja immediately jumps outwards to help Mir, and they've seen these 2 players double back. Why? Because Coldie's got his footing on the A site. However, he's been spotted and tagged up substantially. Bomb all the way back through the depths of which it came, and Davkos joins through connector. Now this is an awkward spot for Gambit. They've got these 2 players coming out from Marketplace, and while Mir is still inside ladder room, that gives them some vision, would enable someone to maybe try and crawl through this hole. Good trade potential off of that, but this is Spirit happy. They've got their bomb plant. They've still got a little bit of an opportunity to further the damage now. If Mir dies, then this is a very one-sided because it's just going to be singularly pushing out through ticket, and there's an active flank coming in from behind them. That's Coldie, who was never cleared from jungle, about to strike, and he does hit Mo instantly. Now bomb's halfway gone. There's still a chance for them to regain control here, and they do, but you could see how Spirit were really making them work for it.
Yeah, if he could have made more of that, that would have been maybe a different round. But Gambit forced into the rotation of CT with 3 people, and Coldie locking into window was huge. So time got close. There was a chance that the bomb could have exploded. Gambit, however, handled it pretty well. The trades were quick, and that's all they ended up needing to do. Now, Spirit at least got the bomb plant, as you mentioned, so there will be a boon for their economy. And on top of everything that they've spent, they've got an extra couple $1,000s in the bank. So Team Spirit down 2 rounds, but not out by any means. Mo pops the CPL window, and then ends up, I think, trying to go for the cat jump and falling. But instead could have told his team that he was rushing connector.
Right. It's calculated, guys.
Exactly. Everything deliberate. Some damage dealt early on.
As deliberate as Sophic falling to his death. Just denying money, guys.
You guys just don't understand.
Just don't get me. Davkos not going to get anything off the op immediately, but luckily for him, his teammates, more than competent. Coldy flies out from Palace, and just one man shows the A bomb site. That's one hell of a way to crack it wide.
Coldy has been like pretty versatile and proficient, and he's got these explosive multi-kills many rounds yesterday. Is definitely impressed for sure. Here's a round where mid control goes well, but then Coldy off of the mid control is able to come out of Palace. Now the #1 threat for you in Palace is a stairs player or connector player, because they can come and peek you at any time. They can throw nades over the stairs. It's much harder for you to kill them than it is for them to kill you. But if you have somebody taking control of mid, then the connector player is forced to hold their attention towards connector, and that means that you can peek out, swing on somebody on default, potentially swing on an op that's standing on top of ticket, which is a little bit more of a volatile position, but you have a lot more options. It's very scary. And the other thing is the window player isn't going to be in jungle holding you as well. Now this does come down to if you smoke window, or if you're leaving it somewhat open or using Molotovs, you're making it feel like the CTs have an opportunity and they still have to watch their backs. But Coldy took advantage of that gap in that timing window where there was enough attention and it was early enough on that they fell asleep at the wheel for just a moment when it came to watching the Palace. Sometimes CTs will smoke it preemptively before they go deal with mid. And from now on, they'll always be concerned about the thought of a Palace lurk that tries to get aggressive. Would keep an eye on Coldy to see if he can try that and try to pull that off one more time. Many of the top kind of A defaulters or Palace players in the game will exit Palace 2, maybe 3 times and a half. And the most part, they're waiting for CTs to push and they try to get that kill. And that's the safest way to do it. But again, you have a play like that, it can be a total game changer.
One of those positions whereby, you know, if you don't have it, you're not always punished, because Gambit aren't regularly going to throw players up into Palace. But it's such a favored fight for a Spirit player to just wait behind those pillars, get the 5v4, punish them for information. If there's only one A-site player, like there currently is for Gambit, well, you can see them flood forward. Spirit have hit the A-site 2 rounds in a row. That's where they found some footing. Once to no avail, and obviously a clean sweep in the previous. But this one starts off with a B hit. Eventually Team Spirit, who were poised to take A straight from the get-go and were only using SDY as a distraction at B, they come wide.
These footsteps won't be heard, but they will be telegraphed. It's understood that somebody's probably going to go to CT. And now it just comes down to Davkos.
Yeah, he's lost his teammate. He can still get his bomb plant. Now he may anticipate one player moving back towards window, but does he think they both go? There's no way he would know.
Oh, this could be huge. He's got to turn his attention in just a few moments. He doesn't find the CT player, and the stairs peek is out.
That would have been massive. Would have instantly cut it down into the 1 versus 1. He knows that AK's there if he wants to go for the hot swap, but speaking of hot, his feet on fire. Ample opportunities there for Davkos to at least cull the numbers, but not going to happen again. So 5-3, Gambit back on the board. Multi-frag for Bondic this time around.
I like that he jumps up into Palace as kind of a call out to Gambit that they're going to take their time on the peak, and also because he has the op, he can constantly threaten CT while he's rotating into this fantastic after plant position. But Gambit have done a good job of making these kind of heinous rotates, these big rotates in late round situations, back and forth. Mo especially, as soon as the op goes off, he doesn't assume that he's going to be able to get another pick from that same angle and relocates. Seems like a very safe thing to do. Davkos does a bit of damage to him, but goes down. That's more important. Mo coming out with the op duel on him one more time. 4v5. Goldie's activated his lurk. That was a nice shot. Actually, Mo is actually ripped already.
Goldie nearly finding him the headshot onto another, but his position known. Almost finding Bondic too. He's lucky to be alive himself. There's just too many players coming at him. Good attempt by Goldie once more to try and throw an opening onto the A site. You can see the bomb was rotating over. Meanwhile, Team Spirit so split up across the map. Their demise yesterday versus Avantgarde was the consistent economic resets throughout all of the halves we saw. And already, this could be poised to happen yet again. We're only 8 rounds deep.
Full passive setup for Gambit, and they're going to be happy to give up window control. The only important player here is Bondic to watch the back of the window. Basically doesn't have to move for the rest of the round. He can call if somebody crosses into jungle or kill the person that's actually jumped in the window. And apart from that, Axile can be safe. Never has to watch his back or be concerned of the thought that a CT has passed their defenses. Now, there's some pressure applied to A, and you can see the rotations have started to swap. But Doja will pick it up.
Yeah, finds the headshot on the Yogg. Exile's op firing off, could draw one into Bondic, but SDY takes the top side of Ticket, nails the 2K. Good on him. Unfortunately, he's left alone. 12 and 5 in the current moment, 100 HP, and 2 CTs trying to barrel towards him. He jumps back behind the silos. They're making a ruckus, so he knows they're right here. He could still do it, and he does! 3 headshots, 4 kills, and he cements his team back with a 1-round deficit. Look at Gambit's cash. This one back and forth already.
That's one crazy round by Sumdai Young. They seemed like they were not all that impressed. Like, okay, we maybe lost some rounds we shouldn't have lost, but what an insane performance from him. Such fantastic spray control, and the 1v2. The only reason the round got close was because of his initial 2K, and then he had to clean up the pieces at the end of the round as well. So going above and beyond here for their minor life. Pretty crazy stuff, and the amount of damage that's been dealt to Gambit has paid off in dividends. They're now saving. Mir, the only player with half armor. Team Spirit have gone back to this kind of spider webby mid control where they try to keep it somewhat loose, have 3 players in the general area. And they're treating it like an anti-force. Moving up Cat one more time. This is what they did on their first anti-eco of the half. As they seek to find out Mir. Sotfik takes him down, but there's 3 players back on the site, now 2. Mo's angle isn't good enough, and Doja will get mollied out of position. He does.
Easy cleanup. Good sweep from Spirit. Excellent anti-eco is just another notch in the belt in terms of making this half hard for Gambit. I think it's kind of important that a guy like Sumdai Young has this this heavy impact at a very crucial game. You know, we talked about how long this core of Spirit have been together, joining the organization on the 9th of June, 2016. You know, it's not often you have a team now, exactly, right, be together for so long. And yet it was Sumdai Young who was this last injection into the lineup, only joining in 2018. So he's been here, right, and they've already attended the most previous minor in the new challenger stage.
Tom made a great joke yesterday. I think he went 0-13 on Dust too.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, Sumdai Young got 0-13. And Tom said, well, Sumdai a lot.
Couldn't kill either.
But he went home and deathmatched.
Right.
Right. He popped some heads and did 1,000 kills in aim bots. And now he's back. He's ready to game again.
Yeah, for someone who goes from 0 kills in 14 rounds to now keeping Spirit in control of the situation here on map 1. The day long from over, as is the journey. But regularity so far is SDY's ability to crack open this B site. We've seen him sent here alone at times when Bomb is sitting outside of A, and we've also now seen him charging forward on a very real entry. Gambit still have, or had, excuse me, one piece of the puzzle. Mir was inside of the smoke, but he's been found out. Bomb's planted too. Exile was just meant to get into position. That would have activated the marketplace players if they wanted to force this retake, but now that they've lost him, it's over. Spirit will take a lead.
They would take a lead, and Gambit bought down to 0. Everything they could have. And oh no, the op goes down for Mo as well. They'll try to reclaim it. Bondic pretty close, but it's an opper posted up, waiting for him to cross to press E on that gun. And we've also got Sotvic coming up the A ramp to stop him from another angle as well. Bondic, what's he going to do here? I mean, maybe goes for it when the time has finally ticked down to the bottom of the bomb, but it looks like he's about to get flanked. Sotvic takes him out. All players dead for Gambit, and that was just a couple of a lot of things that went wrong that round. Mir had a really interesting way of trying to get back into the B site by sitting behind the cat smokes, throwing a smoke forward, and then pushing toward default, but they spammed him through it because they had that awareness. Now, Axel had this big flank, as you mentioned. It was 3v4, but if he had gotten up into the B apartments, could have potentially got one of the last people who would be alive in the post plant early, and then they could have had a retake. Again, Team Spirit did a ton of things well there. And now they have an option open on B. So far, we've seen a pretty good lurk strat from Goldie that allowed them to win a round at A. They seem very comfortable and adamant about going for mid control in the early round. And now they've opened up B site with kind of a full execute that they've seen work well. They take a small lead. Young up to 15 kills. Wow, up on top of the 4K with the 1v2 spray down. He's got 15 kills, so that was not an anomaly for him. It's a tough way to start a round. Mo getting knifed. It was a left click to the back. So a combination of things that you could do, right? You could do right click to the front, left click to the front. Right click to the back is obviously the worst. That looked like a light swipe. Thank God it's reduced damage.
Yeah, really.
On your teammates.
It was such a soft sound as well. Almost sounded loving, you know.
Oh, there's a palace flag.
Gonna be found out though. Sotvic ready for it. Mo furthered down the rabbit hole. Loses HP, but guy grabs an AK, so it's not all bad at the end of the day. Bomb will work its way into the B site, just making sure they meticulously clear corners. You never want to run into a stray 5-7 or have a corner unchecked, and that be the place where they reside. But outside of possessing a single AK, Gambit do nothing more in this round. And this was what I was talking about. When we came into this match, like, I think it's very, very easy to kind of mentally write off Spirit with the way they were dismantled yesterday by Avantgarde. But even Pimp, after the result of Avantgarde, said it as well, that, you know, Spirit had some promise in certain rounds. Like, Spirit just weren't able to give us a showing. That's why I was a little surprised to see him so confidently write them off this morning, because just yesterday he was saying that, you know, this isn't necessarily a result, the 2-0 of Avantgarde, of course, that says Spirit is bad. It just shows us that Avantgarde, who a lot of people favorited, did kind of turn back their form and get into control of the situation.
I didn't have much context for the loss versus Avantgarde. Just looked like they got destroyed, and because they had lost to Windstrike in the previous day, I assume that Avantgarde were not totally infallible, and the fact that they destroyed Spirit, who were another team that you rated very highly, that spoke so much to their form, and so little of Spirit's form. But again, there was some rounds to look forward to. I think it's mostly just the map pool here, and then also the thought that Gambit will have the experience to help toe the line when it matters. Yep.
I mean, well, this is something that couples nicely when you consider the longevity of this roster for Team Spirit. They've been in the top 3 and top 3 of the CIS Minor for the last 3 of them, qualifying again for the next stage twice out of the 3. The only people they fell to was Windstrike for E-League Boston. You can take that into consideration, that there's no real reason that they shouldn't keep that form up. Sure, they're versus Gambit, but it's not like Gambit have convinced us in any of the series they played this week.
They're the least impressive team to me, considering how kind of what their stature is as a roster in the kind of pantheon of good CSGO teams, right? Gambit just played so unimpressively bad yesterday, and had so many things they couldn't figure out, even versus a team who looked unprepared. You know, we were on the bus yesterday with the Windstrike players, and if you guys missed it, it was Dust 2 where they kept rushing long, and the Windstrike players on HLTV reading that people were calling them long strike because of the amount of times that they went long. And it's like, oh, Gambit couldn't deal with that even. But we're in a new match. New day as well. Young is also playing like a new player. Bondic, however, is here to clean up.
Nicely done, keeping his head on a swivel, doubling back between the two. Knew he was being pinched upon. And not always easy to come out with more than one frag in those sorts of situations, but it's not much more than Bondic here for Gambit. Only 2 casualties for Team Spirit in the round, and a very swift A hit if you take that into consideration. Just flying up connector.
Yeah, just punched up for that connector control as soon as possible, and went ahead with the split since all of that map control was given to them. I mean, that's pretty much the 2 keys to the puzzle for hitting A is, can you get into connector? That's usually where the most bodies fall, whether or not it's your team or the others. And it's usually the CTs that are quite adamant about stopping teams from taking control of it. But they wasted no time, didn't allow for Gambit to go and try to reclaim it. And now Gambit have to save. They've got Mo, who has an op at the very least, is moving out to Cat. And Team Spirit, I don't think they're going to be totally aware that this is a save situation. They might anticipate some type of force, but they know it won't be great. Some damage dealt here to Bondic. He's moseying around at A ramp.
I like that Mo's not playing too scared, you know, not just trying to hide inside of a bomb site, but rather looking for a fight. And he never even sees it coming. Davcost shows just the top of his head and blows Mo's brains all over the back wall. Ro2a grabs the op. He's going to try to reposition himself to the top of the ladder, but Spirit have circumvented the threat by going entirely in on ramp. Hell, they're even going to get past this double palace push. Could make for an interesting situation if the CTs double back, but obviously Coldy keeps his mind nice and clear. Focuses on the fact that the players could have been in there. Now that op's been dropped a second time, retrieved again by Mir. He'll find Coldy, so finally Gambit get themselves at least 1 kill, but the fact that it comes after the bomb plant just goes to show Spirit in full control.
Did Bondic show face at Palace, or yeah, it looks like it just took his time. Could have used his teammate as a bait to try to peek out of Palace one more time. Instead, we'll secure this extra AK. Usually you want to have your teammates exit the same way, but it seemed like they were assuming Gambit were going to just turn tail, go hide on the extremities of the map, wanted to split up to try to hunt them down. Moving into the last round now, and Spirit have tons of money. They would like to take these guns off of Gambit. Gambit will buy no matter what. The op would probably be the most valuable weapon that they couldn't re-afford. But no, they've got money. Mir and Bondic both are paid up. This is just fine. That was the most inconsequential exit situation possible for Gambit and Spirit. Pretty decent kill there from Davcost for sure.
Could have really turned the tide. Think about the way that Team Spirit went all in on ramp. Well, it's made possible by the fact that Davcost clears out mid. Mo would have been a very real threat had he been afforded the ability to jump into connector and try to skewer that A site. But he's the first to fall. The only man equipped in the previous round and the first to die. You never want to see it.
Almost every time that they've gone A this way, Axel has played close A ramp. And it looks like he's slowly drifting back towards it, but is settling now at default. Somebody comes running and gunning out of A ramp. Davcost takes him out. Sotfik takes out his help. And now it's just a rotators and Bondic and Mir.
Zero mid control at all there for Gambit. Look at the way Sotfik just blindsides Mo. He never saw it coming. They're going to try to get this boost off so that eyes can be had on the bomb site. Plant going to be for Catwalk now because SDY clears Ro2a. This has turned into one hell of a T-side coming out of Team Spirit.
They seem to be getting better and better every round and more confident about their T-side strats, and it's not one of those situations where they lost so many rounds that is in vain. Instead, they've gotten 10 in total if they deny this retake, and that would be a huge ask of Gambit to pull this off at this point.
Yep, running in and to no avail. So, like you just said, 7 rounds in a row because of SDY's 4K and 1v2 clutch. Ever since that point forward, it was a clean spree from Team Spirit. Can they continue this success into the second pistol? We'll find out after a quick little break. A back and forth beginning here to map 1 between Spirit and Gambit, but Young takes control of the situation in round 9, drops a 4K, a 1v2 clutch, and at that point it seemed as though he had crushed Gambit's Spirit 7 rounds in a row straight off of it.
See what you did there? And yesterday we had the same thing happen to Gambit where I can't remember what it was an eco that they just never bounced back from. And you could see how the mentality could play a factor. Honestly, Gambit looks so close to Spirit and even slightly better there on the T side, in the CT side in the beginning of the first half. And how far away that seems now, as Gambit have only got 5 rounds moving into half number 2.
Pistol would certainly help their comeback affair.
This is big that Young does not fall off after spotting. He runs the risk of dying up there, but because he had the flash setup, he's got more confidence in staying and taking that fight. And now they've got the information that it's not going to be a direct B hit, and he can peek whenever he wants, let his teammates know that they can rotate. And Dima's here from the top ropes to even put pressure on the T's if they go up connector.
Yep. Smoke grenade's not even going to completely block him off, and Coldy knows exactly what's up. Davkost in the corner, welcoming them inwards, but he's not going to find himself a kill. Finally, somebody gets one for Team Spirit. Slowing down slightly, Coldy throws himself into the mix. I mean, there's been ample opportunities for these Spirit players to hit headshots. You can see that with the damage done to Gambit. They just haven't managed so far. Sotfik, 100 health, his teammate only 9. So you can see a very real issue here for Team Spirit is just the fact that they knew exactly what was coming their way, couldn't seem to do anything about it.
And Gambit, on the other hand, got the team ace. Everybody contributed, so there was just a sheer lack of frags for Team Spirit, who, again, as you mentioned, had so much information going for them. Rotations look solid. And instead, the bomb goes down, Gambit pulled it off, and we'll get to see maybe a more full T side. And I'm happy about that. That should make the game more exciting for sure.
It'd be nice to see it as well, because so far, we've been praising the CT sides of Gambit. That's where they've made their wins happen. The T sides have been the struggle. So if today was the day they would break said curse, it would just allow for us to believe in them a little bit more.
Nobody has a good gun on the server for Gambit. It's 3 MAC-10s and 2 Galils. Up against USPs, it should be no problem, and they want to seem to hunt down this MAC-10. They'll eventually find it. Doja assisting Davkost and killing his teammate. But it's now just Sotfik in the window. All hope is lost.
And he should be doomed. And props there to Mo, really making fat stacks with that MAC-10. So I'd love to see his op come into play sooner rather than later. He was a beast on Overpass with the cannon just yesterday.
Should be a tall ask for Gambit to come back into this map just because it is Team Spirit's map pick, and they also had a sizable, very respectable lead coming out of the first half, but the pistol round makes it a whole lot easier. They've collected some money. They do spend quite a bit more trying to buy back into these better guns. I don't know if they upgraded their MAC-10s. That's an interesting decision. They only lost a single player last round, but still decided to upgrade. Spirit players all have M4s, 2 AUGs on the board. Big map, a lot of long angles, totally AUG friendly. There is Young with the Tonka truck skin.
Yeah, man, that thing is ugly. Interesting position. He is close on the smoke, and the spam comes through. Exile and Mir are going to get an opening kill for free, and you could see Dima for a moment try to catch them, but he doesn't want to risk that 5 versus 3 advantage, especially not in the first gun round. If he had walked around the corner, Mo would have been lying in wait, but instead they'll get fancy, throwing Sotfik to the top of the bricks, gives him more vision for connector as well. And Mo's still waiting for the walk-up, but it's not going to happen. Jump across, there it is. Sotfik denies Mir, takes back control of the numbers game, and Dima's still around here, going tit for tat with Mo. The damage substantial on both sides. But Davkost, you cheeky bugger. He's hiding over by the firebox with support from Coldy on ticket. This could be a problem. They don't check it immediately, opting rather to watch bottom palace. So again, we go back and forth, kill for kill, until finally Gambit find themselves in an advantage, but it's so momentary.
I can't believe Coldy was granted that. He could have just fallen off of the flash, but maybe would have died instead, gets a kill. Mo has been spotted here, and there's no cover for Bondic. The op is not going to be useful. Mo now needs to just stay alive because he's not going to win, and Colby even makes sure that that's not possible. The round is over. Spirit win. Against all odds, it seemed like Gambit were for sure going to pick that one up.
Right, Gambit did a great job of keeping these kills traded consistently as they worked through middle, as they had to come out through Palace. I mean, those were two separate... Oh my god, was that a... Did he get that kill as he fell out from Palace? I didn't catch it.
I missed it as well.
Right, for a moment, it looked like as he was coming out from Palace and dropping into the bomb site, he actually sprays the player CT, but I don't think he gets the kill in the end. So, excuse me. And ignore my interruption. What I was trying to get to was the fact
you interrupted yourself, so you're allowed to do that, I think.
That's a good point. I apologize for nothing.
There's two people in there.
There's more than two, Lunders. But there was two separate 2v2 engagements, right? You think about how you had middle for Gambit versus Catwalk, and then you had Palace versus the A-site defenders as well. And it's nice to see that Gambit were able to trade frag in both scenarios. If even one of those fronts gets shut down, then the round looks far worse for Gambit.
Pistols up. Young still holding strong. 20-8, 98 ADR. Some big figures. 3 players on the A side. Doja could potentially draw attention. Maybe he's going to be the last person to show face. They wanted to see if Team Spirit would go for mid control. There's not going to be anybody posted up at the top of mid, waiting for action to happen instead. Team Spirit have a relatively passive setup though, and they've got one player on Palace. And Davkos here from CT. It'll be hard to bring the bomb across from A ramp to default with an op here.
Coldy dinked immediately, so good little assist there between Mir and Mo. However, unfortunately for the rest of Gambit, they still have to trickle past the sniper. The rotators are confidently coming over, obviously. Knowing that Gambit had so little there, it's surprising they even get 2 frags, so props to them. A little victory, confidence booster, but nothing more.
If they did trade out the player on A site, having the bomb come out of Palace would have been more valuable, or easier, I think. Like there's immediately the P250 shots on the Palace player. The op could not have peaked default that easily if the pistols were swarming the site, and a lot of them had jumped out of Palace. It's the objectively better way, I think, to get the bomb down on the site, and the only way I rate how good an eco strat is for getting the bomb down is just how close is your choke point to the bomb plant zone, and Palace is that place for A. So many more ways to lose, so many more angles to nade A ramp than there is for Palace. But this round's officially in the past. 3 Augs here for Spirit. Dima creeping up top mid, has some support from the backlines. And a flash as well to assist him in getting this kill. Does he know there's 2? It doesn't seem like he does, but he'll be fine to leave.
He gets back around Cat. You could see Mir thinking about it. Had he rounded the corner, there was a sniper and window ready for him. So nice to see Spirit not only going on that offensive, but throwing the proper support flash and having the sniper as a fallback too. You know, Team Spirit, despite it being very top heavy at the moment for SDY, have had nice instances of team play. A lot
of roaming going on as the C's are very spread out. With 45 seconds left, they've not only got to recollect the bomb, they have to decide what bomb site they want to hit. And it seems like they're aggregating towards B now, so Sotfik could be the man of the hour. He'll be jump spotting and try not to die. This is the best case scenario for him. Here's the op. Knows that with time remaining that they're probably going to be hitting the site and is now prepared with his AUG.
Yeah, smoke and a flash from the support of Catwalk. Immediately catching Mir on the edge of the smoke, and he doubles down into Doja. Sotfik holding the line. More bodies starting to line up for him. The support's rotating over, and this is Team Spirit locking it down on B. No bomb plant and only 1 kill. Again, the most minimal of accomplishments for Gambit.
Absolutely. No bomb plant. It's just the worst case scenario, and they were lulled into a bad decision because they couldn't get anything done with their individuals. They lost a player, and they fizzled out in the round. It's looking grim for Gambit as they lose another round. 13 here for Spirit. And they're going to earn themselves another eco round, or it'll be Gambit to try to force up or half buy to make it a bit more competitive. And because I guess they haven't actually gotten 5-round loss, they don't even have that much money to work with. No, it's just going to be upgraded pistols. Oh yeah, they've bought a lot of deagles here. I feel like this is kind of indulgent. You're not going to... I think you get diminishing returns out of buying 5 deagles as opposed to buying like 2, and then having some players who have a PT-50 and a flash or smoke to support to actually close the round out. I mean, hey, maybe they'll be able to get the picks. But I personally feel like the deagle is expensive enough that it's hard to justify 5 players buying it or 4 players buying it, especially in a match setting.
Yeah, the question always is, what's better, 5 unsupported deagles or 2 properly set up ones? In this case, there's an argument to be made for the latter, because you see Mo with his just peek into the windowsill. Ogg's going to take that duel any day of the week. And Coldy catching Mir as he tried to creep out from ramp means we now have Spirit with twice the score of Gambit and only 2 rounds away from a map 1 win. 0 pauses left for Gambit after this one. Not many chances either.
And because of the indulgence, nobody's actually decided to save up for an op, and that might just be a stylistic choice. Mo is going to be rifling this round. Gambit look slightly agitated, a little frustrated. Don't know if they had a good breakfast. Got a good hotel gym breakfast. Yeah, did you? You had a good morning, good routine this morning, Launders? Yep, definitely. Glad to hear it. 3-course breakfast. I woke up still full from our delectable Indian delicacies last night. It's true. Man, that was, I mean, we had the pleasure of going to an Indian restaurant with Bleh. In Katowice. Yeah, and Bleh is, you know, he's from where, Mumbai? I think so. No, Bangalore. Sure. Yeah. So he's from there, you know? So I don't even know. I've only had my mother's Indian food, which I rate, you know, 5 stars on Google. But in terms of restaurants, he knows best. Well, let's see if Gambit know best off of the pause. They should have been able to figure something out, and they go for the top mid clash. Does give them a man advantage straight out the gate. What a gunfight that was. CT corpses piled high, and oh, just barely. Mo not going to find safety around the corner, and he loses bomb on top of it all. So that's a call from Sotvik. Yeah, and he hit a perf. Almost got out of there with the B-hop. But unfortunately couldn't get the kill. Ro2a had a small opportunity. Will he finally finish this? No! The rifle shots are not good enough. Oh my goodness, he's low now and he has to fall back and reload. He's gonna get pushed in the connector. There's a player now at top mid who will also die to Sotvik. What a way to lose a round. 2 versus 2 created after that fast clash. Bomb barely caught after, and then Ro2a missing what would have been a great opportunity for Gambit. Imagine if the bomb is picked up with Ro2a at the bottom of middle, having just cut it down to a 2v1. It can run through apartments. He would have gotten the kill on Catwalk, and they knew Sotvik was here. That is crushing. Maybe it would have just been delaying the inevitable, because that's just compounded with the amount of other things that have gone wrong for Gambit, resulting in such a lopsided scoreline. But now Spirit on match point can take a breather. It's Gambit who have to have a flawless climb back into this map. And it's going to start off with an A ramp hit. They get that mid pick near. Could go one better, but denied. So it all comes in from ramp and palace. Coldy just going to tap into the head of Ro2a. That does drop the bomb, but at least straight onto the back of the other player beneath. They're still in no man's land, attempting to exit outwards, and there you have it, folks. A commandeering lead at a second half shut down harder than Gambit entirely. That right there gives Spirit a buffer. Ro2a and Co. on the chopping block. We will be back for map 2 after a break, folks. It's elimination on the line. You definitely don't want to miss this.